All right, and we're back with another interview with another UFC fighter for you guys today. But first, we're going to do some ad reads again. We got Dukehouse Clothing. Their link will be in the description of the video on YouTube below the video. They got tons of stuff. They got shirts, hoodies, drawstring bags, phone cases, sweatshirts, and graphic design t-shirts and graphic designs for all that stuff. And they have my favorite design is the Iron Mike t-shirt design, which is, I got this on right now, and it's actually designed into the t-shirt. You don't have to worry about stitching or pressed on stuff washing out. It's an athletic wear, like an Under Armour wear. And they're just an up-and-coming company just getting started, so show some support there. The link to the Iron Mike shirt and the link to their store, their online store, will be in the description. Also, I'd like to give a big shout-out and thanks to SuperFly MMA, located in downtown Weirton on Main Street next to the Irish Pub. If you are just trying to get in shape because of these fat corona times with all the eating we're doing inside and ordering out because we can't go out and do anything really, or if you're actually trying to train and be a real fighter and get experience and get knowledge and have the skills to have what it takes, this is the place for you. It's by far the most advanced and top of the line facility that there is around in this area, and that you're getting coached by real fighters, like not just guys that did really good and got their black belt and something and then decided to coach. You're getting coached by guys that made the walk, that are real athletes and competitors and understand what it takes. So shout out to you two. Thank you so much for your support. Their links will be in the description below, and follow SuperFly MMA at facebook.com/SuperFly MMA. Thanks, y'all. And today, my guest is another awesome one for me and for you guys if you're big UFC fans. He came from a bad background, had a lot of tough road, had a tough life and a lot of hard roads through life. He fought on Dana White's Contender Series this past Tuesday, and he has 100% finish rate. It was a close back and forth fight going into the third, and he finished it off with an amazing stoppage from mounted crucifix. So, my guest today is newly signed UFC fighter Orion Cosce. All right, I'm joined now by UFC Dana White Contender Series winner and newly signed UFC fighter Orion Cosce, or Cosce, one or the other. Cosce. Okay. How are you doing today, man?
Doing really good, man. Just about to get some food in me right after this. I just got off the airplane a little bit ago, just got home, so I got a bunch of clothes from this past week to wash, settle back in and get back to the reality of training on Monday to get ready for the next fight, whatever that may be.
Hell yeah. I want to start off with one of the narratives that was kind of promoted leading up to your fight, which was the relationship you and your brother have and the bring up that you guys had. So what did it mean to you to get the win on the same night and the contract with your brother?
It means a lot always. Like our fifth or sixth time fought on the same card. We used to fight on the same card, so there's no nerves going into it. But it meant a lot to be able to get that win on such a big stage, knowing the world was watching, and being able to get those contracts, show that emotion in a way that other people can look up to. But, we weren't even thinking about that until after the fact of, we didn't turn our phones off. We turned them off at 1 p.m. on the day of the fight. We didn't turn them back on at 9 or 9:30. Phone was blowing up. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to ignore all this stuff till a little bit later.
Well, that leads me to one of my next questions. Did you even realize that you were the biggest underdog going into the fight on the card for week 3?
I heard I was the underdog, but that's also because I heard that ESPN analysts and all those people, they're like, oh, there's not much that we can find about Cosce. From what they found was probably like an old amateur fight, or they found something on YouTube from a while back. So they probably found one of my first pro fights or second pro fights, or maybe they've only got like clips and videos here and there. But it was just funny how they're saying like, there's levels to the game. He has more experience. He's fought the better fighters. And it's like, to me, I don't care who you fight. I don't care what your record is. Like, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to hunt you down. Like, one of my homies hit me up. He's all, dude, you look like a Terminator going out there. You took every single one of his best shots, and it looked like it didn't even affect you. And that's the case, too. It's like not until after the fight that I'm sore or anything like that. But during the fight, I don't feel anything. So I just go out there and I just enjoy myself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the attractive things about your style. Like it's got like that Diaz-esque kind of like you're just going to keep moving forward and break your opponent. And that's definitely what happened on Tuesday. If
always looking for the finish. I don't like judges. I don't trust them. I think they're trash. So
there you go. Well,
Dixon came out. He had a great game plan. He had a great strategy. I think his downfall was the fact that, on the ground, even when he took me down, I was striking him and I was working my way back up. Unlike his past opponents who would just kind of like let him there. But I didn't expect him to be as strong as he was. I knew he looked athletic, but he was definitely strong when it came to like the takedowns. The first takedown he got, I just told myself, right back up. You got to get right back up. And then the second and third takedown, he definitely capitalized on me overcommitting on some power shots. But my game plan was to go in there and just try to hit him with my hard shots. Because anytime I fought somebody and they say they got the better striking, they've got better grappling, they've got better this, I always just tell myself, that's great. But as soon as I land one shot on you, your whole game plan is going out the window. I took his best shots. I didn't feel affected by it. I kept going forward, like you said, kind of like that Diaz-esque style of, dude, I'm going to keep going after you and break your will. But every time I hit him, he did not like it, and I could tell that because even with, after the first round, I knew I lost, and I got, super pissed in my head. I was like, that's not happening. And I was like, I can't believe I just got taken down 3 times. So second round, I made those adjustments, had people saying, the fight IQ is not there, but it's like the fight IQ means if I didn't have fight IQ, I wouldn't have made those adjustments. I knew, hey, every time I hit him, he's going to try to shoot immediately now. He wants me to follow and overcommit. And that's why on some of the stuff, I'm not really trying to land. I'm trying to force him to grapple because I knew I'm not going to get tired on that. He would.
Yeah, that was one of the things I seen that got under your skin because you were like, I know I'm not going to get tired. And Dana thought you were tired at the end of the second round. And I seen it got you a little irritated that he thought that you were getting tired.
Yeah, we talked in the back after. He said from his perspective, he doesn't know anything going into the fight. He didn't know that my brother and I were brothers until after he saw. And a part of me is like, you kind of have to know, like But at the same time, it's like I do get it though. He said he never saw any fight videos of us. He only is told a few things. So he just goes in there not knowing what to expect. And so it was one of those things where he's like, yeah, at the end of the second round, we touched close. He's like, I didn't know if you were like giving up, if you were like just content with going the distance. And I was like, nah, dude, I don't like judges. Like, and I respect that as a promoter. He doesn't want to have favoritism is what he said. So I do respect that because he didn't want to be like, dude, I'm rooting for this kid. I want to be able to give him a contract if he wins. And so it feels better to know that, it was my style of fighting and how I pursued for the finish. Because I felt like going into the third, it was 1-1. I outstruck him. Yeah, sure, he had me against the cage, but he didn't do anything. It was me doing the striking, the ear slaps. I think he had like 1 foot stomp in a couple of punches here. For the most part, it was me pressuring him down, changing position when I wanted to. And then the third period, going into that third and final round, I told myself he's done. to break him. We're getting the finish. I told my corner that. They were like, hey, man, just go in there and grind. I was like, no, he's done. He's mentally done. And I saw that.
Is it okay? So entering the third round, was that like, since you said like that's something that you were fully aware of that he was done, were you worried about like, okay, this is a close fight, like round, 1 round each? Were you worried about getting the UFC contract entering that third round? Like, was there a worry that I might not get this because it was a close fight?
No, I just told myself, go get the finish. I told myself, we don't trust judges around here. And in that final round, I mean, I had people tell me afterwards that they thought it was a 10-8 round, or it could potentially be a 10-8 round. I still haven't seen my fight with commentary yet, so I don't know. But I've heard some people saying, like Paul Felder was saying, this is potentially a 10-8 round. And I agree, I was very dominant. Once I got that slam, I was on top for the, I think there was 4 minutes left or 3 something left in the fight when I got that takedown, and I was, nonstop trying to like either, find a submission or strike and like get to a better position. But that's my style. I like to press. I like to push the pace. I want to break my opponents, and this is my third round TKO. But it was funny too, because a lot of people are trying to, before the fight saying, Cosce doesn't have that cardio. Ditson does. Ditson's gone to the distance. He's gone to decision. Cosce's never gone to decision. So he doesn't have that cardio. He doesn't have that endurance. He doesn't know what it takes to work a hard, long fight. It's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because I've had 2 other third round TKOs. That just means that I'm not trying to go the distance. I'm trying to push for a finish. And I think a lot of fighters do that nowadays. Find out they're up 2-0, and they'll do what they can to cruise to a finish, or they'll just take the easy way out, and they don't want to get finished. Whereas it's me, it's like, I was down first round, I got pissed to hell in my own head. I told him that's never going to happen again. He's not taking me down again. I made those adjustments mentally. Going into the second, third round, I told myself I need to get the finish. Third round, I was going to get the finish, and I got that finish. And for me, it's more of a mental thing. I could have went into that third round 10, it's a 10-8 round, and I could have literally just stayed there on top in crucifix, take my time. But I heard my corner saying he's done, keep going. And Mark Goddard, he's right there saying you need to work out of the position. I could have been safe. I feel like I did enough to fight by decision. Definitely. I won that second round, and I more than easily won that third round. I don't like judges, though, and I don't want to be that guy who finds a way to, I got the win, I don't need to take any risks. No, I want to finish the fight, whether it be by knockout, TKO, submission. I want to be an exciting fighter, and that's what me and my brother have always talked about. We don't want to be safe fighters. We want to be exciting fighters. We're always going to go.
A lot of guys, like, adding to your point, like, it's almost like an autopilot thing. Once they know they're up, they just kind of like, all right, cruise control time. Like, I got to get to the win.
It's a crazy thing, man.
Well, yeah, definitely. One of the things you just mentioned, your corner screaming, when you were getting the finish, I seen that Uriah started screaming when you slammed him and he landed on his head. Branching off of that, when did you start with Uriah and Team Alpha Male, and how important has it been to your skills getting to the next level?
I've been there for a couple of years now. I'm always back in Alpha Male and Lost Boys, though. Lost Boys is my home. That's based up in Humboldt County. My brother's still there at Lost Boys. They're my family too. But I got a family at Lost Boys or Alpha Male as well, and I want to be able to integrate both of the gyms together. And I think that's something that's going to eventually happen. I make that travel quite a bit just because I want to go and see my brother. I want to see some family and friends, and I want to be able to spend time with people, take a vacation, take my fiance up there because she loves Humboldt. She likes to go into the woods or go swimming and stuff. So it's kind of like a training vacation almost. I get to go and train with my brother, which is one of our favorite things to do. And then afterwards we'll be let's go hiking, let's go swimming. And Humboldt has amazing places for that. The scenery up there is amazing. It's beautiful. The reason I made that move though is just because, I had the opportunity and I took advantage of it. And I feel like being at Alpha Male helps get my name out there a little bit more as well, coming from a bigger gym. And when I first moved down, Uriah was actually a big influence on me growing up into the MMA. I grew up as a kid watching Uriah Faber. So it's pretty cool to be able to have him in now, and we were talking about it during my weight cut too. You know how it is to have those role models from when you were a youth to when you get older. Because nowadays, I don't really like have a favorite fighter. I haven't had a favorite fighter since I was a pro fighter or an amateur fighter. I wasn't the guy who's like, oh man, I'm rooting for this guy to win. It's like, for me, it's like, I'm rooting to fight that guy one day. I'm going to fight these people because they're in my way now. But it's not a sign of disrespect out of me. It's more so out of respect. I'd love to fight them to see where I stand with the top dogs. And I feel like, you know, in this sport, I will be one of the best that, you know, to ever do it. I just need to continue to prove it. Matt Ditson, he was the number 4 overall prospect, I believe, whatever the statistics were saying.
Yeah.
I was just this guy who, out of the woods, never fought anybody worth a damn, supposedly. So I don't have that fight experience. I don't have what it takes. I've seen Matt Ditson's little fights, though. I completely changed the way he fought in this fight. He usually throws a lot more combinations. So when people are talking about fight IQ, it's like, I made a guy who's one of the top prospects in the world of MMA right now. Someone who you know, people are like, this guy should be in the UFC. He should be in Bellator. Like, he should be signed. I went out there and made it to where, did anyone see him throw his typical 5-6 punch combinations?
No, I think your pressure made him hesitant on everything that he wanted to throw.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it was that sign of he respected my power. He knew I was going to come in strong. He knew I had the athletic ability to get the knockout shots. And I also respected his power, too. I know that he has, you know, a good right cross, and he had the good takedowns. But, you know, I do this, and it's funny, too, because I'll take people's best shots to the arms. Because, again, I don't feel pain until after the fight, and that's fine. You know, I'll be a little sore after fights, but I'd rather have my arms be beat up a little bit rather than my head get beat up a little bit. So I like to use my hands more. He hit me with a few good shots, though. But even then, it was like, man, my brother hits harder than this. Let's go.
So the first thing you said after winning, I noticed, was, I'm ready to get back in immediately, like to Dana. In a perfect world for you, like if you had a choice, how soon do you want to get back in? And if you could pick someone for a realistic matchup for your debut, who would it be?
I'd like to get back in about 2 to 3 weeks. I told him 2 weeks, but then I looked at my medical suspension, and they told me Tuesday when they call back to see if I'm like actually fully good. I feel good. You know, my foot was a little sore from throwing some kicks. For the elbows were sore from throwing elbows, and you know, other than that though, I healed up in 2 days. Like all I need to do is take an ice bath to get the swelling down, but I'm not in any pain. I don't feel any problems.
You don't look like you were in a fight.
You know, I've had people throw bombs on me multiple times, and even if they land or they don't land, my arms do a pretty good job of protecting my head. But you know, that's the crazy thing. I heal fast. I heal really, really fast, and it's a good thing to have. But realistically, I'll fight anybody, man. I said it during the, you know, post-fight press conference with my brother. My brother's the same way. We'll fight people, but at the same time, I guess we need to let our manager do his job too and get us those fights. I don't pick and choose fights. That's another thing. People were saying, "Oh, Lewis and Orion, their records are protected by cans," and we didn't choose those fights. Literally, we had multiple people with, you know, 10-2 records, or you know, I had a guy who was 15-5 back out multiple times all throughout my career. I remember a time where my first pro fight was supposed to be 3.5 years ago, and the week of the fight, the guy backs out. You know, he was 3-0 as a pro, backed out, and so the last minute replacement 3 days before was a guy who was like, do it, but as an amateur, and I was like, I just want to fight. I've already done all this work. I'm just gonna fight. And you know, to me, so I 180, 185 catch weight. I feel good at both, and I just want to, you know, fight the best people possible. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Goku said he wants to fight the strongest people. He wants to fight the best people, and that's what I want to do. I just want to have fun with the sport. I want to go down as one of the best to do it, but I also want to have, you know, what I consider a career. A lot of people are calling it an opportunity for some reason. Yeah, sure, it's an opportunity. Dude, it's an opportunity to even get a job. You go and turn a job resume in somewhere. It's an opportunity to potentially start a career. And a lot of people don't realize if you're getting paid to do what you love, that sounds like a good career to have. and I like people. So
hell yeah. The way you're talking kind of reminds me of like a Donald Cerrone, where he's just going to step up and fight anybody at any time. So, say in 1 year from now, how many times do you see yourself fighting in the UFC?
I hope to at least from 1 year from now, I hope to at least have anywhere between 4 and 6 fights in the UFC already done. I understand, like, I don't want to fight for chump change. I'm not saying that. I get that, us fighters, we work hard. We have training camps. We got things to pay for. We have livelihoods at stake. It's our brain at stake. So I'm not trying to sit here and say, I'll fight anyone at any time and I don't care about the money. No, it's like, we need to get paid for what we do. I got a livelihood. We got to buy a house. If I end up having kids in the next couple of years after me and the fiance get married and stuff, then I got, baby expenses. Got to keep, the wife happy and all that. But 4 to 6 fights, that's what I see, and potentially more. But, I'm starting from, the bottom of the UFC list rankings, and I'm going to be working my way up. And so whoever they put out in front of me, awesome. If they give me a big name guy, I want some big name money. If I'm coming in as a last minute replacement, I don't want them giving me early contract stuff. I want them to renegotiate my contract and give me my money's worth. And the other thing too is I know what my brother and I are capable of. We have a huge, as of right now compared to what we had, we have a bigger following. A lot of people I don't even have Twitter anymore. It's like an old Twitter from 2014. And I guess like everyone got to get Twitter again so you can go see what's going on. So I guess I got to go get Twitter and be like, hey man, follow this one. Don't follow that old one. But we just want to get paid at the end of the day, but we also want to be able to make history. And so hopefully for our first fight, we'll be able to make UFC history for the first brothers to make our debuts on a UFC card together. Cause we're the first, we made history tonight on Dana White, or not tonight, but Tuesday night we made
Tuesday
by being the first brothers to debut together on the same card. So we're the first sibling pair to debut together on the same card under Dana White and anything that's affiliated with the UFC. We're also the first brothers to get signed contracts. So that means, first brothers to debut and win and then get contracts. And so a lot of people were telling us about that. So we were already telling our manager, but like, we know ESPN would they would love to have that's big flashing money signs in their eyes to have the Cosce brothers debut together on the same card. And I'm down for it. And my brother's down for it. We talked about it. We know what kind of money that pull in.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely the move. I seen you say that you would, like you just mentioned it a minute ago too, you would fight 185 catch weight or 170, but with your brother, he fought at 170 on the Contender Series. He said he wants to cut to 155. Is 170 like the main weight class you're going to be fighting in?
Yeah, so 170 for the next couple of years will be my weight class. Lewis, after a couple of fights, he'll drop down to 55. I'd like to see him get a catch weight at 160 or 65 just so we can see how his body takes to cutting down. And because he's really good at, obviously he's fantastic at 70. Everyone saw it. He just finished somebody who's never been finished before in his career. Everyone like, oh, he's durable. It's not going to be a first round knockout. My brother went out there, defied the odds. I went out there, defied the odds. We were both really good at 170, but Lewis, he's already said it too. He's not as big as I am when it comes to frame, but he is a big boy. He walks around 180, but when he's training double days, he's walking around 175 to 180. He's having to eat in order to, keep his weight up. So once we get to UFC PI, we'll be able to figure out exactly how he can cut down to 55, if that's going to be possible. And if he can, then perfect. Or if the UFC decides in the next year, maybe instead of 55 to 70, we have 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. Because those lower weight classes, they're every 10 pounds. And then as soon as we have 55, it's 15, then 20, then, 65 pounds. And it'd be cool to see a couple more weight classes coming around just because then my brother would be able to do 55, 65. I do 75, 85. And then, when he wants to move up to 75, let him move up to 75. Our genetics were dense. We got some powerlifting legs and big old ass and stuff like that. So.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate it. Is there any shout outs or anything you want to leave off on and say?
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to all the people that support both my brother and I. I want to shout out to my team, Lost Boys and Alpha Male. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks to the teammates that were there to support. Thank you to all the coaches. There's just so many names. It's hard to list off. With the sponsors, I want to thank them all too. If they're watching this, you know who you are. My Instagram is at Galaxy Cosce. It's right there at the bottom. And then I'll be making a Twitter here shortly, I guess. Twitter, but I guess I need to make one. And then, yeah, if people send me messages, I'll do my best to reply and respond in a timely manner.
Well, you've been great. You responded pretty quick to me for the interview, so I appreciate that. And I can't wait to see what's to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing another one in the future.
Yep. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.